So you may have noticed that Xiaomi has launched a few new things at MWC 2025. Bollocks. And one of those new things is the clever and customizable new Xiaomi Watch S4, which I've had slapped on my anemic northern wrist for the past couple of weeks. Boasts some decent specs, excellent battery life, and it's a big ol' rival to the freshly launched OnePlus Watch 3. So here's my Xiaomi Watch S4 review, and for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! Now first up, just like the previous generation, the Xiaomi Watch S4 is one of very few smartwatches with quite a fluid design, by which I mean you can actually completely pop off that bezel and replace it with another. And of course you can do exactly the same with the standard 22mm straps. And probably just as well, because I'm not a huge fan of this colourful review model that I got in. It looks a bit kiddie-like, which I know is rather apt for my spindly childlike wrists, but all the same. I certainly prefer this nifty two-tone affair with its creamy bluey design, and the matching straps as well with the leathery style finish. The bezels and straps come in wee bundles like this, and you can also grab a variety of straps for the Xiaomi Watch S4, including nylon, fluoro rubber, etc. You got yourself an aluminium alloy frame, though the Xiaomi Watch S4 still weighs a pretty hefty 50 grams including the strap. Watch itself seems pretty rugged so far, no nicks or scuffs at all on that aluminium alloy frame or on the display itself as well, despite the fact that it's only slightly protected by the bezels, which are ever so slightly raised above the surface, and it's water resistant to 5 atmospheres of pressure. Now the Xiaomi Watch S4's 1.43-inch AMOLED display is as stunning as you'd expect from Xiaomi. Sharp contrast, you've got a 326 pixel per inch resolution as well, so even tiny text perfectly legible, and it maxes out at 60Hz refresh, so pretty smooth when you're zipping through those menus, as smooth as any other smartwatch basically. But the best part is, if you do happen to occasionally venture outdoors and you happen to live somewhere that's a bit sunnier than Blighty, well, that screen brightness is supremely strong, and the auto brightness quick to react when you yank your hands out of your pocket. And brightness will be boosted all the way up to maximum levels in about a second or so you can clearly see what is going on that display. And thanks to the sharp contrast, you can just about make out that always on display when you're indoors as well, because it is a very dim always on display, but certainly when you're outside you've got no chance. You have to power up this bad boy to see what's going on. And when you want to hook up your Xiaomi Watch S4 with your smartphone, well, you'll have to download Xiaomi's Mi Fitness app, which is thankfully freely available on the likes of the Google Play Store. Just head to device and the setup takes mere minutes. And if you're not familiar with Mi Fitness, this gives you all of the main sort of settings and features that you would expect. So you can change up the watch face, you can say exactly which apps are allowed to notify you, so you don't get a buzz on the wrist from absolutely every last thing that ticks through on your phone. You can also input all of your health stats. You can turn on the likes of 24-hour continuous heart rate tracking, blood oxygen monitoring, you can turn on advanced sleep tracking, stress monitoring, all kinds of shenanigans. And as for the watch itself, well, this is running Xiaomi's HyperOS, which has got similar features to other smartwatch UIs, although the general layout and navigation is a bit different. So for instance, all of your widget card jobbies aren't accessed by swiping left or right. You actually swipe up to access these. These are fully customizable as always. You can get rid of any cards you don't want, so you're not really bothered about the weather. Just long press on it, tap this little stop icon, and that gets rid of it. You can also add in some fresh ones as well. You've got a variety here, most of them sort of health and sports based. You've got a music widget, alarm, barometer, calendar, a few other little bits there. You swipe down in order to drag down the notifications bar, which kind of makes sense because that's what you would do on your phone. And then if you swipe left, you actually bring up the watch faces menu. So you can quickly skim through a variety and see them there on the screen in all their glory. Each bezel set actually comes with its own custom watch face to match it as well, although sadly for my creamy bluey efforts this was slightly balked. But no bother, you do get quite a wide eclectic variety here in the Mi Fitness app, which you can upload to your watch free of charge in just a few seconds usually. Although some of the more complex efforts do take upwards of a minute. And yes, there's plenty of obligatory, stupidly cute ones if you're into all of that. Maybe I should do a Mr. Wanksock watch face. The kiddies will love it. But there's a good couple of hundred faces on offer in total, and you're bound to find something that you like in here. And you can check out your notifications, as I say, with a drag down, but it is very basic notifications support. You can basically see who sent you a message, what the subject is, and a little bit of the actual message itself sometimes, depending on what the app is. And that's basically your lot. You can't archive or delete the message, you can't reply to it via the watch. Best you can do is dismiss the notification. If you want a bit more support than that, you'll have to go with a Wear OS watch, something like the OnePlus Watch 3, for instance, where you can actually reply to everything right there on your wrist, using your voice, using a mini keyboard if you've got really deft eyesight and finger action. And the Xiaomi Watch S4 also serves up a selection of apps which can't really be expanded via an online marketplace, unlike, again, Wear OS. It's got your main stuff stuck on here though, plenty of health tracking shenanigans. You can check out your heart rate levels, your stress levels, how well you've slept. You got your breathing exercises, obligatory. You can also use the Watch S4 as a remote shutter for your smartphone camera. It's another absolute keeper, that one. It's got full weather reports, a torch, a Find My Phone feature. You can check out your calendar, various timers, and etc, etc. And very limited support when it comes to contactless payments here on the Xiaomi Watch S4. Certainly here in the UK, one of the few cards it does accept is Curve Card, which I just happen to own. Unfortunately, just like the previous generation, every time I tried to add my Curve Card, I got a big fat error. As I mentioned, all the usual health-related shenanigans stuffed here on the Xiaomi Watch S4, including your obligatory steps tracking, although it still seems to count any kind of movement during a workout, like when I was doing a boxing workout earlier. Even though I was tracking the boxing workout, it still reckons I did close to 1,000 steps during it when I was stood very much still. And heart rate tracking, again, not the most accurate. Occasionally you get weird little blips where it reckons your heart rate really jumps up for absolutely no apparent reason and just kind of dips all over the place. So I'd say it's fine as an indicator, but don't take it as absolute gospel. Same goes for the SpO2, the blood oxygen tracking as well. Sometimes when I'm asleep, this seems to dip as low as 90, which I've never had on most other smartwatches. And if you want to check all of your stats in one go, you've got a 60-second checkup. Just tap screen and sit still for basically a full minute, which is, of course, invigorating stuff. This checks out your heart rate, your SpO2 levels, your stress levels, etc., and gives you a general indicator on how you're coping with life at the end of it all. It's not quite as in-depth as some rivals from the likes of Huawei and OnePlus, which can monitor your blood pressure levels, etc. as well. It's fine as just a kind of a general, oh, you might want to have a bit of a lie down, maybe stop shoveling poke scratchings in your face and perhaps book an appointment to see a doctor. No cause for alarm or anything, but maybe see if they're free tomorrow or this afternoon if possible. You might want to get checked over is all. And as always, you've got over 150 different types of sports modes on here, so something to suit all kinds of tastes, believe me. Whether you're into dancing, combat sports, ball sports, winter sports, or wiki? I'll be honest, a lot of these, I don't know what they are. I can't even tell what the hell they're supposed to be from the little picture. This one here appears to be someone jabbing themselves in the face with a fork, which just happens to be one of my many hobbies. You've got dual frequency GNSS tracking for your outdoor activities like walking and running. Not the most accurate. As you can see, this actually had me going into various buildings and stuff on one of my walking routes. You do have auto workout detection for the likes of walking and running as well. For my walking, I found I went out for a 1.5 hour walk at the weekend. This was an enforced walk, I would just like to point out. I would never do this on my own. And the watch didn't recognize that I was walking until probably about the hour and 10 minute mark, though admittedly I had done the occasional stop to grab a coffee or a carton of chips, or to attempt to slip unnoticed into a nearby pub. So that possibly confused it a wee bit. Also, if you're changing your pace quite a lot, slowing down to a very slow walk, then it doesn't really tend to acknowledge that. But if you are walking continuously at a decent pace for about 10 minutes, that's when it will recognize, this guy's actually doing some bloody exercise, Jesus. Now, say, do you want to monitor it? It'll actually start the monitoring from the beginning of the 10 minutes as well. And of course, you can check out all of your stats for your various workouts after the fact. So most of these are fairly straightforward. It'll just tell you roughly how many calories you may have burnt, your average BPM, your maximum heart rate, a little bit of info like that, nothing revolutionary. And it's the same for all of your kind of non-standard sports, anything that isn't walking, running, or anything else that can be tracked in terms of distance, cadence, etc. And of course, yes, the Xiaomi Watch S4 does monitor your sleep sessions as well. This can rate you on your sleep, telling you just how good or crap it was. Gives you a breakdown of your various sleep cycles, which again is a little bit vague and wishy-washy, and the advice is a bit cack as usual. So don't engage in mentally taxing activities like reading a book, watching a TV show, etc. within an hour of going to sleep. Alright, well I guess I'll just sit there and stare at the f***ing wall for 60 minutes then. And like Samsung, Xiaomi also can assign you a sleep animal. I'm apparently a koala because I'm small, furry, and I enjoy shitting on people's heads. As for the battery tech stuffed inside of the Xiaomi Watch S4, well, it's once again a 486 mAh capacity battery, decent size, the same capacity as the previous generation, so battery life is about the same as well. I switched on basically all of the features here on the Xiaomi Watch S4, all of the 24-hour tracking, etc., and it never left my wrist. Did full sleep tracking every night and everything as well, and I found I got pretty much bang on 5 full days of use before it needed to be ripped off my wrist, slapped back on the charging dock. And of course, if you do knock off some of the features like the automatic exercise tracking, you can stretch it out to 6 or possibly even 7 full days. And that is fantastic returns, certainly a full week of use. That's better than pretty much all of the Wear OS rivals out there. Even the excellent OnePlus Watch 3 can generally only make it about 4 days on a single charge. It's right up there with the likes of the Huawei smartwatches and the very best ones out there. And when you do finally drain the Xiaomi Watch S4, well, this is the charging dock. As you can see, not magnetic. You do have 2 metal pins there which connect physically to the back end of the Xiaomi Watch S4. Although there is a magnetic connection just to hold the watch in place as well in case you accidentally knock it or whatever. And the charging pretty rapid as well. Slap it on there and it's fully drained. About an hour's time it'll be back up to full again. And there you have it, my lovelies. That in a tasty wee nutshell is the Xiaomi Watch S4. Gotta say, I do like it. I love the customizable design. You can quickly and easily switch it up on the fly, which makes it feel like a whole new smartwatch. Pretty slick UI, excellent battery life as well, and the sort of general standard health tracking shenanigans. If you're all dedicated, you're proper full on with your fitness stuff, you want more accurate tracking, especially like the GPS or whatever, I'd highly recommend upgrading to like a Garmin or something. But for everyone else who just wants a vague idea of how many steps they're walking and to be able to check your general heart rate during a workout, all that kind of stuff will do the job. That's what this Bull Northern Twonk reckons, but what do you reckon about the Xiaomi Watch S4? Definitely check out my reviews of its biggest rivals out there, the likes of the OnePlus Watch 3, the various Huawei watches. And please do poke subscribe and ding that notifications bell for more on the latest and greatest tech, and have yourselves a ruddy, wonderful rest of the week. Cheers everyone, love you!